No, it's fine. All right. I call this meeting to order at 3 o'clock on December 12th, 2018. Happy holidays, everyone. This will be our last meeting before the break, and we will have the GA, or we'll have committee meetings the first Wednesday when we get back to classes in January, or early February. So we're going to start with the call to order, running down the list. Senator Beebe, Senator Bates,
here.
Senator Boyle,
Here.
Senator Syriac,
Here.
Senator Gasper, Senator Flynn, Senator Goggin,
Here.
Senator Borneo, Senator Hodges,
Here.
Senator Hurd, Senator Killian,
Here.
Senator Madsen, Senator Nguyen, Senator Nuri,
Here.
Senator Omsatale,
Here.
Senator Oscar,
Here.
Senator Pages,
Here.
Senator Pease, Senator Perez, Senator Saney,
Here.
Senator Santos,
Here.
Senator Suhu,
Here.
Senator Suhu,
Here.
Senator Suddy,
Here.
Senator Tack Marble, Senator Tamara, Senator Tam,
Here.
Senator Zibble,
Here.
Chair Martins,
Here.
Chair Patel,
Here.
Chair Zona,
Here.
Vice Speaker Falado.
Here.
Excellent. And moving on, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve all minutes.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. And are there any discretionary account expenses at this time? All right, moving on to committee actions with campus and community affairs.
I have nothing to report.
Excellent. And budget and finance?
Oh, shoot. Sorry. So, the O slides will be presenting today and the Phi Delta Epsilon 2, and we approved their budget request, so we'll get to know more later on. And that's all I have to report.
Excellent. And SEOC?
Nothing.
Okay. Moving on to officer reports, president report.
Hello, everybody. Wow, okay, I just had a brain fart, sorry. So we, Vice President Zeno and I had a meeting with Catherine Newman, I think 2 weeks ago now, and we just kind of got quick updates. We are also working to get her to come to a GA next semester. We tried to get her here today, but there's a Board of Trustees meeting at Amherst, so she is there with Trustee Treat. So she couldn't make it today. Traditionally, we have the chance with the last GA every semester, but we'll just get her in twice next semester. I do need a student representative on the library committee. I was contacted to get a student rep on that, so if you're interested on serving on the library committee, please reach out to me and I will get you in contact with their chair. On Monday from 2 to 3:30, the congressmen are coming to, or congresspeople are coming to campus, and it is in the alumni lounge. Rep Joe Kennedy is going to be one of them, and then there's 3 others. I don't know them because they're not from Massachusetts, so, but they will be here. Yours truly is moderating, so you just need to RSVP to the link, and if you're interested, I can send you to the link. As you've seen on, or hopefully that you've seen on some of our social media, we are looking for cabinet members, so if you have any friends that are interested in getting involved in USG, just send them Sam or I's way. And then just a reminder, right after GA today, we are having our holiday party. There will be free food. It's in the University Dining Club. We can all just leave together. If you don't know where it is, it's on the 2nd floor of the campus center, right where like the cap would be. You just like went 1 floor up. So it will be in there, and there's free food, and it's a good mingling time. That's all I have to report.
Excellent. And vice president report.
Hello. So we tabled last week for kind of like an end of semester or pre-finals. We gave out cookies and hot chocolate and spoke with a good amount of students, which was nice. We had a meeting with Gail earlier, and we talked about a few different things and a few different possible, a few different possible like ideas going forward about increasing like administrative transparency and kind of improving the ways that students like express and advocate for their concerns. And we have a roundtable coming up on February 5th from 5:30 to 7:30 in the Alumni Lounge. If you guys want to kind of like book that off, if you're interested in attending, if you attended last time, we appreciated that, and we'd love to have the same kind of participation. And for that, we'll be looking to go over very largely like how like Cush's ad hoc committee based off of the third floor and how the third floor moderates itself. That would be largely the topic of that roundtable, and that's all I have to report.
Excellent. So speaker report, yeah, so we're having the holiday party right after this. We can just sort of caravan over there if everyone doesn't know where the UDC is. It's kind of tucked away on the second floor. Beyond that, I just kind of wanted to key you all into that the steering committee as a whole is going to be working on bylaw amendment rewrites. If you've read through our bylaws, and I'm sure you did for the proficiency exam, but there were some issues with it. Like there's some really outdated and old parts of that document that just don't apply to us or actually never have. So we're gonna go through and just sort of edit piece by piece. So that's what we're gonna be preparing to present at the first GA the week after we get back. So if anyone is interested or notice any flaws in the bylaws when you're going through it, please let us know. It'll make our job a little easier in terms of trying to obviously highlight it and then amend it. Katie is going to present on the elections committee, which we have to pass, and then we also have to kind of assemble a group to work on it going forward. They are kind of responsible for moderating the elections that will happen in April. So Katie will go a little more in depth with that during that part of new business, and that is all I have to report. Vice Speaker report.
Hey everybody. Okay, sorry, I might have a little brain fart too today, but here's okay. The last GA is on YouTube again. I'll send the link in the minutes. We're recording this one too, so as soon as that's out, I'll email you guys during the finals week. Sure, like and subscribe, share it with friends and all of that. We're going to updates on the CIO search committee that I'm on. We're going to be having telephone conferences during the break, and then we'll be having meetings. So as soon as I get any updates to that, I'll let you all know. And I guess since I won't be seeing you all, if I don't see any of you all after the party today, I hope you all have a happy holidays, and to those who celebrate, Merry Christmas. Nothing else to report.
Excellent. Yeah, so Trustee Tariq isn't in today, but she wanted me to wish you all a happy holidays on her behalf. So we'll move on to Chief Justice report.
Nothing to report.
All right, and are there any Senator reports at this time? Senator Suddy.
So yesterday is just an update on the flagpole mini project. Chancellor convened an ad hoc committee of university stakeholders to determine the best location for installation of at least 2 flagpoles. That committee met yesterday, evaluated 8 different locations around campus, and then submitted 2 recommendations to the Chancellor's office based on position, future construction, and operational functionality for the police department in order to raise and lower the flags. So those should go in by the end of the week, and then possibly break ground somewhere halfway through the spring semester for final installation by the end of spring.
Awesome. Great news. Is there any other Senator reports? No? Okay. Moving on, there's nothing in old business, so we will go right into the Elections Committee overview.
So essentially, this is just some red tape that we have to go through. So the Elections Committee is responsible of setting guidelines, and they're responsible for making sure the elections are seamless, and they approve people that want to run. So if you want to rerun for your seat, which you would have to, this is only a 1-year term for you guys. Your nominations, I believe they go out traditionally the first week of February, and you have a month to put your nominations through. So that gets vetted through the Elections Committee. They give your guidelines. If there are any campaign violations with the guidelines or complaints, that comes through the Elections Committee. Traditionally, USG members who are graduating or that are not looking to run again for whatever reason serve on this election committee. You don't have to. You could say, see you later. I don't want anything to do with that. And so it can also be other members of the undergraduate student population that serve on this committee. You just cannot be running for a USG position or put any sort of referendum question in. You have to be completely unbiased for this process to go forward. So does anybody have any questions on what the Elections Committee does? Okay. So Speaker McLaughlin will put it to a vote, and then you would vote to create the elections committee. That is all.
All right, is there a motion to vote for the establishment of the elections committee?
Motion to move to a vote?
All right, is there a second? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay. Passed. Right.
That was to move to a vote.
Move to a vote.
Sorry, it's been a long day. Okay, yeah, so there's been a motion to move to a vote and also a second stuff. And then also, yeah, I'm just pointing on the words. I don't even know the words to say. All those in favor of passing elections committee, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, cool.
Thank you.
Bring me up my rhythm. Awesome. Okay, moving on to the Phi DE budget request. Yeah, you can come down and present in the center if you want.
How are you, Michelle?
I really don't like this.
Michelle, you look really comfy in your blanket.
I really am.
Alessandra, what committee are you the chair? I was just wondering, I was confused.
It's a dumb thing, okay?
I think I remembered the last thing I was going to say for my thing. Good luck to all on your finals.
I need that.
Can you all see well, or should I dim the light?
It's fine.
Okay. So my name is Christian. I'm the president of Phi Delta Epsilon, and I'd like to present our budget request for the regional leadership conference we are planning to go to, which will be held on February 15 to 17 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We call it RLC for short, but I think before I ask the question or answer the question what RLC is, I think it's important that I kind of give an introduction or background on Phi DE. So Phi Delta Epsilon, as Phi DE, is an international medical fraternity that fosters a community of physicians of integrity through our guiding principles of philanthropy, deity, education, and equity. I feel like this definition doesn't really give the best image or the best idea of what FIDE is, so I'm going to go through the important words in this definition so you can understand what FIDE is. So first is International Medical Fraternity. Because Phi Delta Epsilon was founded in 1904 by Aaron Brown at Cornell University Medical School, and it was just for the medical school at the time. And a few years later, they passed it down to medical programs as well. So we have over 90 medical and medical chapters around the country and beyond, in the US, Canada, Mexico, Europe, the West Indies, and the Caribbean. So we have this connection, this vast network of pre-medical and medical students. On top of that, we have the International Board of Physicians, which really help us when it comes to building our own network and we partner with shadow and such. Now, our guiding principles are philanthropy, deity, education, and equity. Philanthropy really speaks to our partnership with Children's Miracle Network Hospitals. The one we have in Boston here is the Boston Children's Hospitals. And every year we manage to raise at least $1,000 for the children of Boston Children's Hospitals. We have what we call Miracles Week, where you see us on campus with pies and activities and ice cream, trying to raise money for the kids. DAD really has nothing to do with the gods or religion. It really means trying to hold ourselves to higher standards, because we aspire to have a profession that requires you to be responsible for the life of human beings, and we want to have integrity. The last part is education and equity. Education is pretty straightforward here at school, and equity really ties back to the fact that Phi Delta Epsilon was founded because we wanted to increase diversity in med school, which at the time period was really only for white males. So it took some time for us to get to the point where you have someone who has a foreign accent speaking as president of Phi Delta Epsilon, but progress has been made. Now, I present all this about Phi D because it really captures what we try to get from the conference. Now, to answer the question of what the conference is about, there are really three main goals that we have for the conference. The first one is to meet our leadership, which really doesn't seem as if it's going to help the UMass Boston community, but I make sure to show that it's actually going to help us, and on top of that, it's going to help the UMass Boston community. The second point is networking, and the third point is professional development. Now, when we talk about meeting our international leadership, we're talking about meeting our president, our CEO, our medical and pre-medical school representatives, and also the board members of physicians that we have. Now, I want to focus on the board members of physicians by using this specific example. On one side, it really helps us dealing with physicians, making the connections we need to make. And on the other side, here I present our William Gelfand lecture. Every year we have a lecture where we invite a physician to talk about science, medicine, research, or public health on campus here. We've been doing that since 2012 when we've been inducted as a chapter, and the event is open to everyone on campus. We not only put flyers, but we also send invitations to most groups of UMass Boston, Student Nursing Association, USG, and all the groups we can. So in 2016, we had Dr. Martin Aguado come to speak to us. He's an anesthesiologist, and he spoke to us about reaction under pressure. Now, we met him at the Regional Leadership Conference, and we would have not been able to bring Dr. Martin Aguado on campus if we didn't have this networking opportunity we have with the board members. Next point I mentioned was networking. Networking here is networking with medical and medical students from the Northeast, because this regional leadership conference is only for chapters in the Northeast. And this networking really helps us make the connections again. And on top of that, it's through such networking opportunities that we got the idea of increasing our presence on campus on public health. As pre-med students, we really can't do much when it comes to health. We don't have the legal rights to treat, we don't have the knowledge. So when it comes to health, what we can do is raise awareness. So that's what we've been doing this year specifically with our breast cancer awareness, cardiovascular health awareness, alcohol abuse, and national eating disorders. We really think that these are very important, especially in the life of undergrad students who don't always live the healthiest of lives. And the last point comes through presentations and workshops. This is an example of a physician we had present to us at the conference this year. We presented on how to use 3D printing in radiology to facilitate visualization before invasive and non-invasive procedures. It was really interesting to us, but we also had a lot of workshops that we get from the conference. Now, besides the fact that we learned a lot from those, when we come back on campus, we have our own professional development night. again, another event that's open to anyone on campus where we help each other build resumes, cover letters, interview skills, and such. And we get ideas to present at our professional development night at the conference. So, another point that we advantage from going to the conference is the fact that we visit Philadelphia. Although it's not very long, it's probably half a day because we spend 2 days at the conference, 2 presentations and lectures. We try to find some time to visit Philadelphia as well. So, RSC, the conference is going to be at the Wyndham Philadelphia Historic District. Like I mentioned before, February 15 to 17, 2 nights. We are trying to arrive in the morning of Friday to have the half of the day to visit the city. And then it's just lectures and conference after that. And we are departing on Sunday. Now our budget included registration fees, plane tickets, and hotel. But we managed to get hotel funded by our College of Science and Mathematics, which is not it's not been approved yet. Everything is going to be approved. So from the budget and finance, we presented that our expenses were going to be plane ticket and registration fees. 24 members are attending the conference. The reason we want to have this large group is because we believe that the more people attend, the better it is to spread the word, the better it is to present on campus. And we also represent at the conference as we are always remembered as a chapter who brings the most amount of people to such conferences. So the amounts that we requested in total were 4,400. And the budget and finance has been able to approve 2,440, which we are grateful for. So these are all the expenses and all that we requested from budget and finance. And I would just like to end by saying that in 2017, for example, we had a total number of 20 members showing up for the conference. Part of it was funded again by budget and finance, and we really had a great time and we were able to bring it back to the campus. At the end of the day, I truly believe that every single member of the chapter is a member of the University of Boston community. So if they can learn something from going to the conference, then this is a great opportunity for us. Now this is the end of my presentation. Should you have any questions?
All right, thank you for presenting in front of us. Are there any questions at this time relating to the budget request that we are voting to approve?
I just want to clarify, the reason we're bringing this to USG is because it's out of state and everybody has to approve it. All budget requests that go out of state according to the bylaws. So you were just confirming the B&F amount of, what was it, $2,440? So that's what you're doing, just because that confused me for a hot second. And then do you have a confirmed 24 people that are going?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you go back to the expenses slide? So for the first part where it says it's $200 at most for a plane ticket and for 24 attendees, is the $2,400 for half the price of a plane ticket?
No, that's for what we requested in total. So I guess I'm supposed to put 48. Yes, that's a mistake. It's supposed to be 48. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Brian? Yep.
So you have 4 delegates and then 20 non-delegate attendants?
Yes. So delegate pretty much the international board tries to have at least delegates from each chapter at the conference. So they waive the registration fees for them. So that's minus 400.
Will the rest of the expenses be covered by the actual delegates, or is that something you plan on fundraising as a?
The rest of the expenses, so we are, like I mentioned, we are trying to get funding from the College of Science and Mathematics.
second?
Second.
All those in favor of moving to a vote say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we will be voting on approving the budget request put forward by FIDE that has previously passed through B&F for the proposed budget, budget amount of $2,400, $2,440. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. We approve. Oh, no worries. We have another presentation. Alright. So moving right along, there was a budget request put forward by a few members of OSLICE to go to the Social Justice Impact Conference, and they're going to present their budget request today as well. So they can come down if they want.
Sorry, I'm getting over a cold, so my throat's kind of gross right now. So I'm Kinsey Lonergan. I'm one of the 3 attendees that we're trying to send to the Impact Conference in Charlottesville, Virginia. The other 2 have a meeting for the groups that we're involved with right now. So we're requesting funds to go to the Impact Conference, as I said, in Charlottesville. And so what this conference is about is from the 21st of February until the 24th, so it's over the weekend. It's the largest gathering in the country for social justice and civic engagement topics, for college students specifically, and also faculty and staff. It's focused on community service, service learning, community-based research, advocacy, and a lot of other forms of social justice that are kind of present in society. And so the point of the event is to allow different programs to network with each other, individuals to network, to gain information about how different groups are running their programs so that they can improve upon them. Myself and one of the other attendees, Jamie McCaughey, actually went last year and presented a workshop, which is what we're trying to do this year again. And while there, we talked to a couple of different alternative break programs, and Jamie is actually involved in BBS, which is an alternative break program. This year they're doing weekend trips, which is something we haven't done before, and the reason was we were talking to a lot of groups from other schools, and they found that it was more financially feasible for their students, and it got involvement up. So BBS tried it, involvement has gone up, and they are sending out 2 weekend trips, one over the MLK long weekend and one over another long weekend within this academic year. So who are we? Who am I? So we're all students that hold various positions throughout the Office of Student Leadership and Community Engagement, OSLICE. So we all lead service-oriented organizations. I'm the co-director for Strong Women, Strong Girls. I'm also a facilitator with GROW, which is why I want to present a workshop for facilitation. And I'm also on a BBS trip. Jamie and Liv are both leading BBS trips, and they're also in GROW. Liv is actually in charge of the GROW program from a student perspective. And since all of our groups are focused on service learning, we would like to go to the conference to kind of connect with them and continue to improve our programs, because SWSG has a ways to go to become an even better organization, as does BBS, as does GROW, and all the other offices within OSLICE. So for our promotion efforts and selection process, the Office of Student Leadership and Community Engagement is sending students. We are not part of that group of students, because we are all seniors, and they don't want to send seniors because they feel it's more beneficial to send freshmen, sophomore, and juniors who can come back and be here for an additional year. And the reason we want to go is we've gone before, we know what we're looking for, and we are in higher leadership positions. There aren't a lot of underclassmen, so to speak, that are not seniors that hold these positions. We want to be able to go, learn these things, bring them back, implement them in our programs, and then be able to hand that off to whoever succeeds us. And the conference is open to all students who are able to afford it and able to afford transportation there. So as far as promotion efforts and selection process, OSLICE is doing their own thing for that to fund students to go. but they're not funding us. And so for attendees, you have myself, Jamie, and Liv. These are the programs we're involved in, as I mentioned earlier. And then this is the budget that we had created. So for travel, we were going to drive down to Virginia since it's not super far. Last year it was in Dayton, Ohio. It's a lot further, so we flew. But it was more feasible to drive, so 110 includes like gas prices one way and back. Housing, this is a hotel near the conference. It is $510. We just do one room with the 3 of us in it. And we just recently got that number today when we were able to finally get somebody on the phone to talk to us about it. Prior to that, we had come up with a slightly larger number because it was a last minute request that we had since we had originally pulled an Airbnb for housing. And then for conference fees, it's $220 per person for 3 people, so $660. And that's their conference fee for going and presenting. So we requested $1,390 and we were approved for $150 per person. We are not able to get funded through OSLICE, so if we do not, outside of this funding, we are going to try to fundraise. However, we are all involved in other programs that we're fundraising for, since we're figuring out how to manage that. And since we're not like all within one group, we're going to be fundraising through GROW, since that's really the group that we can link into. But there's no like official way for us to fundraise. Otherwise, we will be paying out of pocket, which we're all in agreement with. Any questions?
Charizona, why wasn't the conference fees covered?
So 150 per person, you cannot give per student more than 150. It's only 3 students going.
It's in the bylaws.
It's in the
No, I know.
So 150 covers all 3 of the things: the housing, the mission fee ticket, and the flag.
But we'll talk online. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? No? Are we ready to move to a vote?
Motion to move to a vote.
Okay, is there a second? All those in favor move to a vote, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. So we will be voting on BNF's prior approval of the request from 3 students looking to go to the Social Justice Impact Conference, priced at $150 per person, meaning that's a $450 budget request. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. All right. So we're gonna table the USG group photo. We obviously didn't plan ahead. We don't really have a camera to take the photo. So we'll have that for the first. Yeah, no, we can take it still right now off the video footage, and then we can just
Like half our senators.
yeah, right. So yeah, we can. We'll just do that like the first time that we get back. So the first GA of the new semester. But so that concludes new business. Moving on to open forum. Does anyone have anything to present today? Sure, tell.
So I went to the CLA Faculty Senate meeting this Monday. They wanted to just open the lines of communication with USG since they haven't done it before. And they were looking to see what are the students' concerns on this campus. I went to the meeting, told them about the 2 past legislation we passed about OER and flagpole. And I stressed to the faculty members in the Senate meeting about OER and how we want professors to start using OER. It's beneficial to them and the students. It seems to be benefit. I saw a few members taking notes on it, so I'm going to try to reach out to them. For CLA, it's a little bit different story because they don't use as many textbooks as the other colleges, but the hope is still to get all the colleges to use OER. The chair of the meeting did say to reach out to CSM because for CSM majors, textbooks are very expensive for them, and OER is a lot more beneficial for them as well. So I'll be trying to reach out along with Speaker McLaughlin and Morgan from Massburg, trying to reach out to the CSM Faculty Senate and presenting to them about OER.
Yeah, elaborating on that just a little further. Since we passed the OER legislation, again, thanks for the fourth time, but we've received tremendous feedback from faculty on campus and different committees and councils that have really seen that this is something that the students are passionate about, and USG is passionate about, and they're starting to take it more seriously. So it's done so far like astronomically better than we even could have imagined. So that's kind of the library committee as a, I'm not really sure if it's a byproduct of the legislation itself. I just think it's really coincidental that we've had a council and a committee of faculty and administration on campus that have gotten in touch with us within a week of us passing the legislation. So we expect to see even more of that in the future. We're going to keep working on it, working as hard as we can. There was one thing in talking with Chair Patel about the meeting itself is that, as you may know, you have to know, they're really passionate about parking. All the faculty on campus are really passionate about the parking fee increases with the new parking garage and at Bayside. So that's something where I kind of wanted to gauge the temperature in the room. I don't know if a lot of you drive or not. You can still be sympathetic to the cause even if you don't drive. But it's something that they've been obviously, not like a negotiation chip because we're not really negotiating so much, but they asked if we were willing to undertake anything that would support, basically just a resolution that would say the student body supports affordable parking fees, in layman's terms. Are there any real opinions on that? Is everyone sort of in favor of something like that? I mean,
I do have an opinion as a very opinionated individual. Frankly, and granted, I'm speaking as somebody who doesn't park here. I walk to campus every day, so take it for what it's worth. But I think $15 a day is probably the best rate you're going to find in the city of Boston. Granted, I know that most people here are students, so I think that if the negotiation is going to take place, it has to be on behalf of the students, not on behalf of faculty. Additionally, I think it's important that we remember as students that the faculty union agreed to parking fee increases when the university went and decided to build them. And I know that because I've had very long talks with the woman who is negotiating on behalf of the faculty. And so now that it's time to essentially pay the piper, they don't want to pay me. So they have, the good news is that the university has come back and said we're not ever going to lower the cost of parking for faculty below what students are expected to pay. However, that being said, that's essentially what today's little stunt in front of the library was about, is that they don't essentially care what you're paying, because they don't want to pay.
Yeah.
Question, is this State UB that was asking you?
So this was at the actual CLA Faculty Senate meeting.
Yeah.
We had proposed, obviously, they were interested, they invited us because they wanted to hear what we had to say, which was a great feeling to have faculty reach out to us after we've been reaching out to them for so long, and them actually wanting to have sort of an ear to the ground, so to speak. And Kush can probably tell a little better.
Yes, so
But
when
they were reaching out to you regarding general.
Yeah, they wanted to see,
Just-
they emailed Speaker McLaughlin saying, we want to open the lines of communication. When I went to the meeting, presented about OER and other student concerns, then they were asking questions. One question came from one of the Senate, from one faculty member asking, where is parking as a priority for USG? Have we talked about parking? Students are aware parking is somewhat, it can be a divided issue as well with students, some who drive, some who, live here. And I said that, we haven't touched on parking in great depth as the other issues we've been talking about, such as OER. They did urge, one of the faculty members was asking us to, really hone in and focus on parking, really fight for the cause. And I was like, okay.
I'm going to be skeptical. You're all going to think that I'm crazy. I've worked with, not this Senate, so I'm not going to call them out as I've worked with them, but I've worked with other faculty, and I find it very convenient that they invite us to a meeting, or representatives of USG to a meeting, and then ask us to attack parking. They have come, I've worked with them before. I don't know if any of you remember last year, but the whole Chancellor search the Mount Ida thing. I was on the news a lot, working with them because I agreed. And then once those were coming to an end, they tried to continue the relationship because my predecessors have warned me to not align with some of the views of the union just because it gets a little out of control at some point. I took that with a grain of salt and I made my own decision on that. But I can guarantee you, and especially with the response we received from OER, they're not worried about what students are paying, they're worried what they are paying. I don't agree with the parking prices. I don't park here, I rent and I take the shuttle. I don't think it's proper for us, or right for us for students to be paying $15 a day to park. I think it's messed up. I'm the first person to say it. However, what my issue is how these people, or these Senate meetings, just like with, say, UMB, have never come to us before to ask our opinion, and as soon as they want to start pushing, because they're still in negotiations won't last, that's when they come to USG and say, well, you should really make this a priority, when they have not listened to us when we say students want open education resources, and they have thrown us to the curb. That's my opinion.
So
I'm just gonna add something real quick, and that's a really good point, and that's what I don't want this to be, is they see that we're doing things and we're active on campus and passing resolutions and using it as almost a way to sort of jimmy the door open. That way they can kind of catch our ear again and again and again about parking. It's not really, again, I'm in the same boat. I don't really drive, so it doesn't impact me personally. I can be sympathetic for the cause that the $15 is way more than what it used to be. And say that maybe that's not right, is sort of putting that cost back on students. But I in dealing with the faculty and subsequently not dealing with the faculty when they won't take my calls and answer the door, they're not really looking out for you. And this is something that I can say from how they've treated us in meeting with them and trying to catch them. If their parking fees were significantly lower than ours, they wouldn't be fighting for ours. They would. They wouldn't be petitioning out in front of the library. They wouldn't be standing out in the cold fighting for what we want, because they haven't shown a consistent effort to fight for what we want. Senator Suddy.
So I just wanted to add that there is an agreement. Negotiators and arbitrators came to an agreement, tentative agreement, last week during negotiations. That agreement is up for a vote from faculty unions right now, and so there are sides in that union that don't want that agreement to be approved. So that could be where this is coming from. I spoke with a woman who is actually negotiating on behalf of the faculty union right now. She's optimistic that it gets passed because it's the best deal that they're going to get, frankly.
Do you know any of the details of that deal?
So right now, that deal actually caps their parking at, I think, $5.36 a semester, which, according to the posted numbers, is actually lower than student parking rates. However, her understanding is that it's going to drag student parking back down to be equal with it. That's if it gets approved. If it doesn't get approved, the administration is under no obligation to continue negotiating in good faith with the section rates.
Senator, that's a month, or is that a semester pass?
That's a semester pass.
Speaking of I feel like these, a lot of the points being made are attacking the union a bit. It's not, I don't believe that it is wrong to point out some of the mistakes that they have made with us. But if we can align with them in a situation that is beneficial to everyone, we don't have to make a pact with them forever. But I mean, this is an issue that we should be talking about and should be focusing on, because it's definitely affecting our students, and that's what we're here for. And I think spiting them and saying, you haven't helped us before, and yes, they are coming to us because it's convenient, doesn't mean that it isn't also helping the student body.
That's a really good point, and that's sort of where we have OER in our back pocket now too, is that, and I don't want to turn this into a negotiation. It's not what it is. It's supposed to be a partnership and working together for what's best for the students. But if that's what it takes, is that OER is something that we want, and parking and student support for parking is something that they want. So it's just something to keep in mind, just that each person has something that the other person wants, and it sort of initiates the trade.
I guess I wanted to echo the sentiments that I agree with the President and Senator Suddy on the issue. I don't, having remembered when the members of the council have come to our meetings previously, they only came just because they want us to rubber stamp what they're fighting for or like that. And I feel like they should not, as much as we also should, we could compromise with them on certain issues. I don't think we should just be some place where they can just come and just rubber stamp their agenda through us to say, oh yeah, students support this when we're supposed to be representatives of how the students feel.
I think it's important to kind of clarify my point here that I'm not in any way attempting to attack faculty. I think they have a lot of things to advocate for that are good things to advocate for. But something that's important to remember on this is that they are not negotiating parking prices for students. They are only negotiating parking prices for faculty members. Whether it is beneficial for students or not, it will have absolutely no effect on student parking rates because the administration has come down and said categorically they are not going to adjust student parking rates for the upcoming semesters.
Do President Schreiber.
Please, I've already spoken.
Because I think someone already made this point, but the second there's a deal that faculty gets a low rate and students are still paying the same rate, they would take that deal and we wouldn't hear another thing from them about parking, and we'd be allowed to hear it.
And that's kind of where the clause, I think you had mentioned that there's a clause in the contract itself where the students will never pay more than the faculty do. So it kind of drags down the student rate, but also I don't know, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I don't know why they would sign on to a deal that would lower revenue double, you know?
So the university will not.
Yeah.
The university has to raise parking rates regardless. Now, we may be able to argue that $15 may be too high, but parking rates have to go up in order to be able to service the debt on that garage. The bills are going to start coming.
To go back to what the Chief Justice said, I agree, Connor, you're right. However, I am just skeptical of the way that it went about it, and you obviously all know that. But I do think it is a disservice to the student body if we don't speak something. We've kind of beat around the bush for a year on this now. So I would say if anybody wants to write the legislation for next semester, negotiations are going to be over, but it's still something that you can do, and maybe in there say students should never pay more than people that are paid to work here. That would be my suggestion, just putting that out there.
You have a PowerPoint to know how to do it now too. Yeah, really good point. It's something that you can definitely undertake. Work on it over the break. If you have any questions, we'll be working on our own USG stuff. We can definitely take some time to help you guys out. I just really wanted to gauge the temperature in the room on that. It's something where if we have more of these faculty council meetings and whatnot, they are going to come to us and obviously ask us about parking because it's first on their agenda.
I just want to know, what are the increasing rates? I've heard different numbers being thrown around, so I'm just curious if anyone knows actually what it's going up to.
So currently, anywhere you park that is owned by UMass Boston, it's $6. So what they're doing, so Bayside will be to $9. You can buy a semester pass, and it's students that are already here are grandfathered in for a 4 year, so the current, so if they're now sophomores, if they are full credit loaded or graduating on time. So they will be grandfathered in, so that's the only class, and when they graduate, so those 4 years, it will be at a lower price only if you buy the semester pass. And that's just for Bayside. So any on-campus parking, so the garage, the campus center garage and lot D is tiered for hourly, and the max is 15. And then on the weekends, the garage is 10.
Thank you.
Sarah,
So Bayside will stay a flat rate, and the other three on campus will be out.
Correct, so I think it's, I don't have it with me either, it's at home, but I think it's 1 to 3 hours, or 1 to 2 hours, it might be
It's
$12.
1 hour is $9, 2 hours is $12, 3 hours and above is $15.
There might be another one, there might be $13 in there. But I don't know.
So that means you can't buy a semester pass for on campus
You can,
parking?
but it's at the, I think
Bayside parking lot, it's actually a mess. My car has taken some beating with what's going on in that parking. If there any construction being done, so it can be leveled out because it's it's a landfill. It's like going to a war zone.
I don't know anything. Since it's up for sale, I would have a hard time believing the university's gonna put any money into it, but I can double check and send something out. Are you talking about just the pavement is bad?
It's the whole parking lot. It's going into, you literally something exploded, you're going to a war zone. It's just I don't know. and nothing's paved, everything's just patched on, and if you go into the other side of the entrance, the other entrance for the teacher's place, whatever, there's holes. There's crater holes by that area. I don't know if it was just a storm or something, but there's literally holes where if you put your car into that, forget it.
Yeah, I know last year there was a storm and cars got flooded in there and damaged. But I can check with master planning and see if there's anything. I doubt it, but I don't know.
Alright, so, yeah, seeing as we have to get over to UDC in 10 minutes.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, there's no motion to adjourn, is there a second?
No.
Okay.
Just sorry, I'm not allowed to do that. Just as a plug, I know we're eating right now, but from 6 to 8 in the dining commons, the owner of Anna's Taqueria, which is Chipotle,
5 to 8.
5, thank you.
5 again.
Thank you, whatever time, I know it's 2/8. The owner of Anna's Taqueria was a UMB alum, and so they're doing tastings and stuff over there. And then next Monday, there's a free I don't know if it's continental, it's a free breakfast for students. That fall.
At night, served by your deans and administrators. It's maybe 9 to 12 or
Wait, do you say breakfast at night?
I can get you that.
Breakfast at night.
Breakfast
Okay,
at
breakfast.
night served by the administrators for free for any.
Dinner in the morning, breakfast at night.
Yes.
Alright.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, there's a motion to adjourn, is there a second? Okay, there is a second. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.
I would say if you're coming to the dinner, can you just please lift up your name tag and rate over here so it's a little bit easier for them?
Yeah, that'd be great.